It's just so rare to find a book that is so perfectly balanced, both with the story and both with the structure, um, the sentences, the brilliant paragraphs. It's just so rare to find a book that is just perfect. And I think this one is. I am just. No one warned me about how I will feel after reading this book. No one really said, Pili, be ready, child. This is not any other book you have read before. No one said that. Well, at least I'm saying it to you. When you pick up this book, don't just pick it up. You gotta be ready, really, because you're wondering what the hell I am talking about the past two segments of my video. This is the book I'm talking about. You see? Kuningish. Already my head is like, okay, now I think I'm all right. There we go. I honestly don't know where to start. I think there are many reasons and many facets of why this book is perfect, why it works, why. And it, I assumed it's like a chunk, and it's not. It's just not that much. It's like I read it, I think after 4 days I was done, and I was not done, and I'm still not done. This is working in me. I was dreaming of a lot of spirits around me. I wouldn't say a nightmare. I was literally, if you ask my husband, he will tell you, I was screaming out every night, every time I finished reading a chapter, and things would happen to me in the night. I would feel as if someone was pulling my toe, and and I would literally dream of spirits. And I'm not a person who dreams of spirits. That happens only when I am performing or rather singing. That's when I tend to dream of spirits. But this felt like a life of its own. Freshwater by Akwaeke Emezi. What a gift, I must say. It's one of the best thing I've read. I think it's a perfect way of starting my year with this book. I think the reason why it resonates with so many people, I think when you think of mental illness and you think of African mythology, and when you think of African traditions and African spirituality, and when you put that thought aside, and then when you think of this book coming out, and I think in 2017 already people were reading and talking about it, I think so. I think it resonates with young people because for the first time, a book that really explores, or rather gives a different perspective of what mental illness is or could be, or what it's something beyond our understanding. And I think of cultures, African cultures, many African cultures, not only an Igbo culture, but a lot of African cultures that they associate mental illness with witchcraft, and therefore it is sort of something that we don't want to understand, and we kind of like put it aside and not giving ourselves times to, as families, as a society, to understand what mental illness is. And this book has given another perspective of it. So with Freshwater, you have to read it you can read it in one perspective, which is the magical realism, or you can just give bare naked the truth, bare naked the reality. That's two. But for me, reading it, I wanted to combine the two, because it is quite real, and it is quite real to some cultures, it is quite real to some people. It's not only magical realism, but for to some people, they might study this book in years to come and classify it as just a magical realism. But that's not fair. I don't think that's quite fair to just say, oh, it's just magical realism, it's just a young girl with spirits in her. I think we have to also connect it to what's happening today, and that's why I think the book works so well, because it just, the balance is perfect. So I don't know how Akwaeke managed to write such a poignant book. It makes me think of what's this book, The Famished Road. Yes, The Famished Road by Ben Okri. That one took some time for me to understand, but this one, it was so easy to get into somehow, because of my own mental illnesses and all my own realms, I think, my spiritual realms that I go through at times. So it was quite easy for me to grasp the book. So a few things that I want to, a lot of people on social media quite didn't understand what is an ogbanje. I don't know much about it. I really had to also Google, and the understanding I got of what an ogbanje is, so I wrote it down, is that an ogbanje is a reincarnating spirit that causes grief or pain. They're most often children that are stillborn, that die stillborn, or children that die before they are married. Marriage in Igbo culture makes one complete. So I can imagine how this affects Oda. Okay, so now that we have an understanding of what an ogbanje is, there are people who are ogbanjes. I think also if we Google a little bit of the author herself, she is an ogbanje as well. So this is real to some people. This is a real life thing to some people that experience this and live like this. But to people like me who don't know, but now know, thank goodness, now know, we understand that it's a brilliant book, because of how, again, I think I'm rambling, I'm repeating, because you can't just review this book. There are books in life that you cannot just review, because you just have to talk about the experience of the book. Okay, can I breathe a bit? Okay, let's just breathe. So I read Freshwater, and it's okay. We follow a story of Ada, who has multiple persons in her, or multiple spirits. She has spirits in her, and different kinds of spirits. There is the spirits from the outside, I think are called brother sisters, are the others, and the spirits in her are that cause a lot of pain and a lot of grief. So from the young age she was born, the spirits, the gods were in her, and she grew up and went to America to university, and we follow her in her life, and we see her life through the eyes of the god of mostly Asụghara. Okay, so honestly, we were understanding the gods. Also it's written in different POVs, in different in different perspectives, We have we, which is I think the other gods, the brother sisters, I guess. And we have Asụghara, who is the one that's causing a lot of ish. As and we have Yeshua. Um, we also have we just have, so these, all these gods are inside of her, and they are taking over slowly, slowly, surely. They end up really taking over, and these gods, they have I mostly reading it, I was just feeling so sad and understanding. um so every decision she makes, Ada, her spirit is, her soul is sort of tinier, you know. You can imagine Ada's spirit is so tiny, and it's taken over by Asụghara, by these gods. And everything she does, how she walks, how she speaks, whatever action she does, it's not her, Ada, the person, but it's those who are inside her that are taking over and making those decisions for her. But then we are introduced to Asụghara. So Asụghara came out to Ada's life because Ada met this guy called Soren, and the thing is with Asụghara, I think, in my understanding, I feel that all the gods were intact. They were fine. They were okay. They were taking care of the body. They were inside the body and using the body as a vessel, or rather as just a warm blanket to stay and witness the human life. But as soon as and I think everything was intact, connecting to her being a virgin, being pure, everything was intact in her growing up. But then she met this guy Soren, and ended up, they were not having a sexual relation, but ended up that Soren raped her. And that's when Asụghara came out. Like, I get it. I get it. I understand what an ogbanje is, but I also get why was Asụghara come out the way she came out. She came out not in a love moment, but she came out in a very horrible way when the keeper was sexually assaulted. And then Asụghara came out, and she comes out, she is a spirit of desire. She is promiscuous. I mean, I don't know if it's a she. I think Asụghara might be a she. I don't know. Yes, but there is also Saint Vincent, another spirit also. I'll come back to that one. But Asụghara then takes over, slowly owns Ada, and Ada has moments of trying to take Asụghara away, and she goes to a therapist. On the outside world, you see this problematic child who is promiscuous, who is everywhere. As an ogbanje says, they are troublesome, and I can imagine even Sayaki, Ada's mother, she is worried and confused why her child is like this, but not knowing that she has spirits inside her and they are taking over. This is not her. It's like she has different lives, and it's just a different, I can just imagine how hard it is for Ada, and I felt for her. I understood, and I got it. Asụghara is troublesome. The spirit is so troublesome, making a lot of things difficult for Ada. And there's this thing, Ada end up cutting herself. On the outside, the reality that I spoke about, you can just see someone who just self-harm. But actually, in the spiritual realm, it's sort of like feeding the spirits, or yeah, the sight of blood, it makes them fuller. She's feeding the spirit every time she carves her skin. Every time she cuts herself, she's feeding the spirits. So wow, so it's just two. It's funny because it has these two lives that are happening. How Ada's friends see her, and how the gods see her. And then there's her, Ada, how she sees herself, and that she is not herself. She's not her. She's owned by something else. She falls in love with Ewan. And for some time she was fine because Asụghara decided to give respect to Ada and move away a little bit, and so that Ada can enjoy what love is. But hey, human beings are human beings, right? Ewan fucks up. Ewan has a long-term relationship with another girlfriend. So that hurts every time Ada is hurt. Every time Ada is hurt, that allows Asụghara to come closer even much more. And every time Ada accepts Asụghara to come closer, she feels better. Which means that in the outside, Ada is drinking, Ada is doing drugs even, Ada is harming herself, but in the inside, Jehovah Christ, she is fine. She is having a joy with Asụghara. Like, guys, this double standard life that she's living, it's heavy. It's and no human being can protect her from it. No, only her if she wants to, apparently. Actually, she wanted to feel better. That's the thing with Ada. Her objective was, I want to feel better. I want to be okay. And that way is to just close my eyes and just stop breathing. And Asụghara, of course, helps her to do that. And she has several attempts, suicidal attempts. And finally she did at the end. And then she's happy on the other side. And guys, and guys, I am it is so painful. It is so painful because it is beyond human. No human could have fixed Ada. Only her could have done that. Only her could have said no. There were moments when she tried to fight Asụghara, and Asụghara gave her migraine, like a horrible migraine. And how Akwaeke describes that moment of Asụghara harming the body. That was after Ada left the therapist, because the moments where Ada really wanted to understand what is going on with her. She's not well. She hears people, voices, and those voices. Guys, this is better than any mental illness film I've ever watched. I'm telling you, it's better. It's far better. I love this book. I love the themes it explores, the subject it talks about. I love it. I think it's the best thing I've ever read this year. Like this 4 days of this year. 5 days of this year. Please get it. My review might not even be enough to explain how genius this book is. But you have to get this book to understand and to find your own understanding of what this book is all about. Listen, if you don't, you're gonna miss out. You're missing out on something perfect, something great, something that does not miss anything. Every line that Akwaeke wrote is perfect. Excellent writing, beautiful writing. The story is the character. I missed Ada. There are moments where like Ada ekulum, and then I think some pages, some chapters, then Akwaeke writes about Ada, or Ada speaks only for 1.5 pages. I'm like, it's frustrating. I can imagine how much of frustration it has been for people outside watching witnessing Ada, like she has different personalities. We don't know who she is. I also don't know who she is, because I only know Asụghara and the gods and the brother sisters and Saint Vincent and Joshua. That's the only things I know about Ada. But do I know her? And then she's dead. It hurts, but listen, I'm gonna stop because this one is gonna be a long video and I'm loving it. Thank you so much, Akwaeke. I am looking forward for Pat. I'm also looking forward for something, the other book. I don't want to fuck up the name, but I am looking forward to read your work this year. Mwah. Congratulations, well done, girl.